Hi there, it's Louise here of Timeless Craft Mama, and today I'm sharing a scrapbook layout process video with you created for the Kaisercraft March sketch challenge. This was a sketch that I initially looked at and I had this circular background in mind for. I'm not sure where it came from. It's a little bit different from the sketch, but when I was looking at this collection of papers, which is A Sail Away from Kaisercraft, I really just wanted to use that circle. So I've gone ahead and cut that out with my Cricut machine, and I've chosen this photo of Master C cruising along the Noosa River in October last year, and I really just loved the colours of this with the navy and the light blue. I felt like it worked really well with this photo, had a watery kind of feel to it, so that's why I chose this particular photo on this layout. Now the first thing I'm doing is just attaching that circular paper, and then I'm going to go ahead and sponge some white gesso on the page. Now while that's drying, I want to mount this photo, so I'm just using some black cardstock, and then I'm going to grab this 6x6 paper pad and pull out some of the papers that I want to use on this layout. Now you'll see that this particular collection has sort of some neutral tones and some reds thrown in there as well, but I really wanted to make the focus of my layout about those blues. So the light, the navy, the white, just to keep in the theme of this particular photo. So I'm mounting these layers, starting to build a cluster of the photo using some of these papers, and you'll see that I do go and change this a little bit further along in the video just because I'm not satisfied with how the cluster's coming together. So once I'm finished trimming these papers and I've picked out a couple that I know I want to build into these layers, I'm going to go ahead and bring back my base sheet, which is completely dry now. It did dry fairly quickly, so I'm going to use the Kaiser Mist in Aqua, and this is a technique that I find really gives a very subtle layer of colour. So what I've done is I've lightly misted the gesso area, and then I've used the sprinkles of water again over the top, and then I'm also sprinkling some of that Kaiser mist around and then spraying with water again. Now the final step, just because I want to spread some of this colour around, is just to take my water pen and just apply and spread some of that colour. You can sort of see in the video how it really moves and spreads with the water. And now that it's dry, you can see that it's a really subtle background colour. So I like this because it gives layers and dimension by using the same colour. So then I've put some more of those drops over the top, but this time I'm not going to apply any water, so they're going to come through darker again. Now, moving back to my cluster while I'm letting some of that colour dry, I'm just using some card and some adhesive to mount some of these layers, ready to attach them all together. Fiddling around, making sure that I'm happy. And again, I'm just ripping some of that card in half because I know it's going to be behind the photo, so I don't need to have whole pieces. And that's the cluster put together, ready to go on the page. So I'm just going to set that cluster aside. I'm happy with how it's looking. Those papers are going to just look beautiful on the page. Another layer of those sprinkles, because you can see how when the next layer had dried, they'd sort of blended in with the background. So I'm just continuing to build this and letting it dry naturally, just to bring out some depth of that colour. So I've roughly trimmed a piece of the paper to go along the bottom section of this layout. It wasn't initially in the idea that I had, but the sketch did have that bottom layer, so I decided I would include it, and I'm quite happy with how it's turned out. So I'm just distressing one edge of that, and I'm going to attach that to the bottom section of the layout. Now the next step when I'm getting ready to build the background of this page is I've taken the interlocking circles decorative die and I've again cut out the same range of papers. It's actually the same as the one that's on the bottom strip. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that in the bottom right hand corner, which is the same as what was on the sketch. And then pop some of these other layers around the page ready to move on to the final stages. So I'm going to take some of the Sail Away collectibles as well. Again, I'm just skipping over all the red ones and I'm sticking with those blue colours because that was the focus of this layout. So I've popped out a few of those anchors and some sayings, and I'm ready to pop those around the page with a bit of journaling. So while I go ahead and attach some of these elements to the page, I want to talk to you about some of these products that I've used. And this interlocking circles die was one that I knew straight away I had to have. It's so versatile. Not only does it give you great layers for your backgrounds, but in this particular case with the water theme or the ocean theme that I've got going on, it really has a great sort of almost bubbles kind of feeling to it, which really lends itself well to this particular layout. So all I'm doing now is using some foam mounting tape, and I'm just going to attach some more of those elements. And you'll see as we progress that I'm simply just using parts from the collections that came with the Sail Away range. Now, the sketch called for a circular title to be middle left of the photo, and I straight away wanted to call it Let's Cruise because this picture of Master Sea is just so much fun. So I've taken the sticker that says Let's Cruise and I've just mounted it on one of the circular elements from the 6x6 paper pad, and again using the foam mounting tape to pop that on the page. Now I initially didn't know what else I was going to use to build up this page, and I ended up deciding on some flowers because I felt that they would really help to bring out some of the additional elements in this page. So some of those sayings and the little background work. And just to help them blend in a little bit, I'm going to colour them with that same K's mist that I used on the background. So the white I'm just colouring fairly lightly, but with that smaller turquoise flower, I'm really giving it some depth of colour because I really want it to be almost navy. So you'll notice that while all the flowers are different colours, they are clustered in a group of 3 with the elements of the sketch that were the focus of this particular layout. So I'm going to pop my journaling onto this little card, and it simply says Cruising the Noosa River, October 2015. So moving along now, I'm simply going to glue some of these elements down, and again with some more of the foam tape to raise them up, give them a little bit of extra texture to the page, and build the rest of this particular layout. I'm just going to take some of those, again in the blues, some of those stickers that have got little sayings on them, such rest and relaxation, perfect day, I'm not sure what this one says, just floating away, so really appropriate for this particular picture. And I love how this has turned out. I'm really happy with the memory, and I thought this was such a cute photo because this was our twins' first time going boating, and they really had such a great time and were such good little fellas for being stuck out in a boat fishing on the river. So I love the memory of this particular page, and I'm really pleased with how this layout has turned out. So the final touches are just to add a couple of little diamantes, again, some in the sort of turquoise colour and some in that really light blue to match the different layers that I've created on this page. I am going to show you the finished product here. I really hope you enjoyed this video for something a little bit different from me. Thanks so much for visiting. Please feel free to leave any comments or give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel to see any future videos from me, Louise of Timeless Craft Mama. Thanks so much for watching.